Imagine this. A major national crisis hits and the food you've carefully saved to keep your family secure might not stay yours for long. That's right, FEMA has the legal power to take supplies they deem essential for public use. And yes, that includes your canned goods. This isn't some conspiracy theory. This authority is already written into emergency policies and procurement guidelines. But here's the kicker. There are 10 specific canned foods FEMA is most likely to target first. Why? Because these foods are already a priority in federal stockpiles, government contracts, and large-scale disaster planning. Don't think for a second this is random. Every item on this list is backed by real-world supply chain moves and federal planning strategies, and we're breaking it all down for you. If you're a prepper, someone protecting your household, or just curious about what could happen in a heartbeat, this is the video you need to see. Stick around, because knowing what's on this list could make all the difference. And before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're always a step ahead. FEMA's game plan is no secret anymore, and it's time you knew it too. 1. Tuna. When it comes to canned proteins, tuna isn't just food anymore, it's a hot commodity, and if disaster strikes, FEMA will be watching closely. This isn't speculation. The pressure on tuna supplies is at an all-time high, and it's driving up demand and prices. Here's the reality. Atlantic bluefin tuna is already scarce. By the end of 2024, 97% of its fishing quota had been used up. For 2025, that quota wasn't just renewed, it was slashed by 5%. Meanwhile, other regulatory bodies have tightened limits on related species like big-eye tuna, sending ripples through the entire industry. Economic hurdles are making things even worse. Samoa, a hub for tuna production, is struggling. Fishing boats are grounded, thanks to a 17% spike in fuel prices earlier this year. Limited quotas mean fewer trips to sea, and tuna input there has already fallen by 12%. Even with innovative efforts like hybrid engine boats, progress is slow. These challenges affect everything. Retail prices in the U.S. are climbing. By March 2025, a standard 5-ounce can of tuna cost an average of $1.47, up 5% in just a year. Premium options? Expect to pay up to $1.99 per can. This pricing surge is hitting while supply chain issues are under tight scrutiny. Customs officials are cracking down on shipments to combat fraud and quality concerns, creating even more bottlenecks. But it's not just traditional tuna in trouble. A growing shift toward plant-based alternatives is redefining the market. Thai Union's plant-based tuna sales shot up 42% last year, signaling a pivot, even as traditional stock struggles to keep up. To make matters worse, technology is being deployed to police the industry. RFID seals, AI-powered sorting, and mandatory location tracking for boats are becoming the norm. However, this heightened surveillance could lead to even more supply chain disruptions. With yellowfin stocks predicted to drop by 9% in the Indian Ocean before 2030, stocking up isn't just a good idea, it's survival. Whether it's a global crisis or rising regulations, tuna's value has transformed. Hide your stash now before it becomes the first thing FEMA targets. 2. Sardines. If FEMA had to move swiftly during a food emergency, sardines would be high on their radar. This isn't just speculation. Sardines are shelf-stable, nutrient-rich, and packed with protein, making them a survival essential. But there's a deeper reason they'd be seized first. Supply is shrinking fast. Morocco, the leader in global sardine production, is already sounding the alarm. By spring 2025, reports revealed near-zero catches, with southern ports seeing volumes plunge by 60% compared to 2 years ago. This ripple effect hit hard, leading to sardine shortages in the UK, where major stores like Sainsbury's and Asda ran dry by mid-2025. It's not just about quantity. Climate change is pushing sardine populations further north, out of reach for Moroccan fleets. Contamination issues are rising too. Microplastics in the Mediterranean are becoming more common in sardine samples, making clean, quality catches harder to secure. Globally, prices are climbing fast. Wholesale costs on premium sardines from Vigo surged 23% in a year, fueled by tight quotas and disrupted fleets. Portugal's sardine industry even shut down for 3 days in May. Meanwhile, export tariffs and stricter import rules, like dioxin-free certification for sardines arriving in the U.S. from South China, pile on extra pressure. Infrastructure challenges add another layer of chaos. Fires, bottlenecks, and rising aluminum costs for cans have slammed the brakes on production. Aluminum, crucial for sardine packaging, saw a 6% price jump in early 2025. Producers are scrambling, but it's far from enough. Retailers are feeling the crunch too. Dollar General bumped sardine can prices to $1.35, while Amazon UK capped orders to a max of 24 cans. Demand has skyrocketed. Even food banks in the UK reported a staggering 28% increase in sardine requests over the past 2 winters, with the FAO predicting a 9% dip in Atlantic sardine biomass by 2027. The availability of this humble fish is becoming a serious issue. Sardines are not just food now. They're a strategic asset. If FEMA is forced to seize vital resources, sardines will be an immediate grab. Stock up now or risk having to barter later. Number 3. Canned corn. Canned corn might seem like a simple pantry staple, but it's quickly becoming a critical resource in emergency food planning. If a crisis hits, you can bet FEMA will be ready to grab this high-priority item. The reasons are stacking up fast. Persistent droughts and erratic weather have wreaked havoc on corn harvests. The USDA had set the 2024 average price at $4.40 per bushel. But with changing climate patterns, spot prices surged past $5.50. Satellite data revealed unpredictable yields, with swings of up to 20% in certain regions. Futures markets aren't ignoring the alarm, and neither should you. On top of that, rising costs of essential components like sunflower oil, up 2%, and tin plate for can lids, up 6%, are making production more expensive. Companies are cutting back. For example, El Monte scaled down their sweet corn production after shutting another factory line. Fewer cans on the shelves mean higher prices and fewer options when you need them. Demand is climbing, especially at food banks. Organizations like Feeding America have reported a 17% spike in canned corn requests last winter. Bulk buyers are snatching up supplies in record amounts, leaving little for the rest of us. Meanwhile, retail brands are increasing prices. Private label corn at Dollar General jumped to 69 cents a can, with no signs of slowing. Globally, extreme bottlenecks and disasters are intensifying the pressure. Container rates from China to the U.S. surged 18%, adding strain to imports. A warehouse flood in Mexico destroyed over 1.8 million cans earlier this year. Even Brazil's strong corn crop hasn't balanced the scales, thanks to shipping delays and trade restrictions. Countries like China are already shifting policy to secure more canned corn, raising their duty-free import quotas to 100,000 tons. And innovation is surging in resilience efforts. Colorado is investing in solar-powered corn sterilization, while Walmart experiments with high-tech can labeling to streamline production. However, these solutions won't make extra food appear overnight. Canned corn is fast becoming more than just a side dish. It's a resource under scrutiny, and all signs suggest it'll be a top item on FEMA's list when stockpiles run low. Don't wait until supplies vanish. Stash what you need now before it's too late. 4. Peaches and syrup. Canned peaches might seem like a sweet treat for dessert, but they're actually a powerhouse in emergency food stockpiling. If FEMA starts grabbing essential food supplies, peaches and syrup will be one of the first to go. Why? These cans pack a calorie punch, last forever on the shelf, and require zero prep work. That's a triple win in a crisis. The canned fruit market is already sending loud warning signals. Since 1997, prices for canned fruits have skyrocketed over 107%, with new 2025 records hitting wallets hard. Georgia saw a record-breaking peach harvest in 2024, with the USDA announcing a 22% increase in peach production nationwide. It all sounds promising, right? But here's the catch. Despite larger harvests, the wholesale price of peaches climbed by 12%, and retail prices followed suit. Dollar Tree is now charging $1.25 per can for its private label peach halves. Even large-scale food banks like Feeding America haven't escaped the squeeze, reporting a 24% rise in canned fruit demand during the last winter season. That kind of pressure reinforces peach's status as an emergency food essential. Looking globally, we've got even more chaos feeding into the peach supply crunch. A port strike in Chile, equipment thefts in Greece, and fluctuating exchange rates in Russia are just the tip of the iceberg. Add to this skyrocketing sugar prices, up 18% this year, and even the syrup in your peaches becomes a costlier commodity. Producers are pivoting to adapt. California growers are slapping on sustainability labels, while Uzbekistan is trialing flash cooling methods to lock in texture and flavor. Packaging innovations include peel-off foil lids for quicker access and aseptic filling lines to extend shelf life. Those shiny new features aren't just for convenience. They're about maintaining reliability in a food industry stretched to its limits. Retailers are catching on too. Amazon Whole Foods now restricts bulk peach purchases as consumer panic buying ramps up. And with lemony sweet peaches projected to hit 1.6 kilograms per person annually by 2030, you can expect shelves to empty when disaster strikes. Bottom line, peaches in syrup are much more than a dessert. They're a strategic food source that could vanish fast. Secure your stash now before they're taken or traded away. 5. Chili. Canned chili, whether it's chili con carne or chili beans, might seem like a simple comfort food, but don't be fooled. When disaster strikes, its calorie-packed, protein-rich mix turns it into a must-have survival staple. If FEMA starts seizing emergency food supplies, chili will be one of the first foods on their list. The numbers speak for themselves. Chili's popularity in emergency stockpiles has grown quickly, now making up 5% of the typical prepper food kit. Feeding America reported an additional 1 million cans requested by food banks during the winter of 2024-2025. Retailers are feeling the heat too. Dollar General raised its private label chili to $1.45 per can, while Amazon capped bulk orders of Hormel chili at 36 cans to curb panic buying. But it's not just demand that's surging. Supply issues are tightening up chili production across the board. Erratic weather in 2024 reduced California's pepper harvest by 15%, causing ripple effects like sriracha shortages and higher costs for chili makers. Essential spices like cumin faced delays, with Port Houston holding up shipments earlier this year. Add storm delays and hurricane damage in Mexico to the mix, and the chili pipeline starts to look shaky. Even the ingredients are affected. Bird's-eye chili exports were capped in Indonesia, while cumin and kidney bean prices keep rising, thanks to shifting tariffs and supply chain disruptions. Meanwhile, steel surcharges and tariffs on sea salt drove up production costs. By early 2025, chili pepper futures surged 18% to $4,200.00 per metric ton. Producers are adapting, of course. Hormel plans to certify its chili beans as regenerative by 2026, while plant-based chili options are growing rapidly, driven by consumer demand. Innovation is reshaping the category, from lighter aluminum cans at Dollar Tree to energy-efficient processing systems in Illinois. Even the military is getting involved, testing quick-heat chili packets for MREs. Chili isn't just comfort food anymore. It's a tactical, shelf-stable powerhouse that FEMA knows could be a mission-critical item during a crisis. If you've got a stash, keep it hidden. Stockpile what you can. And don't underestimate this underrated pantry essential. 6. Beans. If there's one canned food FEMA is guaranteed to target in an emergency, it's beans. Red, black, pinto. These protein-packed powerhouses hit all the marks for nutrition, longevity, and emergency preparedness. And FEMA knows it. The numbers don't lie. By March 2025, the Consumer Price Index for canned vegetables soared 134.6% since 1997, hitting record highs. A 15-ounce can of beans saw a 9% price hike in 2024 alone, outpacing general food inflation. But this isn't just about rising costs. It's about a supply chain under pressure from all sides. Weather disruptions carved out big chunks of bean production. North Dakota's pinto bean yields dropped 14% in 2024 due to drought, while the Panama Canal's low water levels delayed 150 containers of Mexican beans. Even at home, the situation's fragile. Del Monte shut down its Wisconsin bean line last year, forcing FEMA to adapt its sourcing strategies. It gets worse. Food safety issues added to the strain, with Faribault Foods recalling batches of beans over seal defects, even those intended for FEMA's hospital stocks. Add to that the FDA hammering down on sterilization procedures and supply chain efficiency, and beans are truly under the spotlight. Demand is relentless. During the peak of COVID-19, beans shot up as a pantry hero, with a 230% sales surge, and while the pandemic is behind us, beans remain at a steady 28% higher than pre-pandemic levels. Feeding America food banks reported a 21% spike in bean requests last winter. Refugee-heavy regions also drove shortages, like an 8-day supply gap announced by Texas grocer H-E-B. Suppliers are scrambling to respond. Bush Brothers is pouring $70 million, 0 cents, into a new steam recovery plant to make processing more efficient. Mexico paused export licenses, while Tanzania stepped in with USDA-certified organic Moamba beans to the U.S. market. Even the government is getting savvy, offering tax credits for facilities stockpiling over 500 tons of beans. Beans aren't just food anymore. FEMA's Rapid Commodity Watch dashboard monitors every truckload now, proving that beans have become part of national infrastructure. Shelf-stable and nutritious, these cans are a lifeline in any crisis. FEMA's ready to take them off shelves at the first sign of trouble. Stock up now, or risk being left behind. 7. Canned chicken. When it comes to emergency food supplies, canned chicken isn't just a pantry staple, it's survival gold. Packed with protein, shelf-stable, and versatile, it ticks every box FEMA looks for in crisis-ready rations. If food seizures begin, expect canned chicken to be a prime target. The rising demand says it all. The global canned meat market is set to grow from $17,270 million 0 cents in 2024 to $18,250 million 0 cents in 2025, driven by surging demand for shelf-stable proteins. FEMA isn't alone in noticing. Governments and NGOs are stockpiling this compact, ready-to-eat protein source for disaster relief scenarios. Canned chicken demand is skyrocketing. Amazon saw a 38% jump in stackable chicken can sales in late 2024, and Dollar Tree bumped their private label prices to $1.50 per can. Even resellers are cashing in, flipping 4.5-ounce cans for $7.99 each. These aren't just groceries anymore. They're investments in food security. But as demand climbs, the supply chain feels the strain. U.S. imports of Thai canned chicken rose 18% in 2024, while packaging costs soared. Tin plate for poultry cans saw a 12% price hike. On top of that, contamination incidents and stricter global food safety standards, like Saudi Arabia's double sterilization rule, are tightening production even further. Producers are innovating to keep up. PacWest Foods developed an automated bone trim line, and Crater Foods invested in robotic packing systems to streamline production. Meanwhile, global policy is aligning to help. Canned chicken is tariff-free in Australia through 2027 to support emergency stockpiling, and new logistics systems are prioritizing rapid distribution in urban hubs. Still, supply remains limited, with cold storage stocks shrinking to just 38 days by January 2025. The balance is precarious. A single disruption, from a natural disaster to a supply chain attack, could trigger FEMA to swoop in and secure every can in sight. Canned chicken isn't just food, it's strategic. If you want to stay ahead of the crisis curve, make sure your pantry is stocked. FEMA certainly will. Hide them now, or risk being left with bare shelves. AC canned soup. Canned soup might not scream essential survival food, but FEMA knows better. Packed with nutrients, easy to store, and ready to eat without any prep, canned soup is a powerhouse in emergency rations. If food seizures begin, rest assured soup is high on the list, especially popular varieties like chicken noodle, tomato, and vegetable. The pressure on the soup market is rising from all sides. Since 1977, canned soup prices have skyrocketed 337%. A single can of Campbell's tomato soup, once $0.96 in 2021, now averages $1.27. Inflation across agricultural goods like carrots up 18% and celery up 12%, combined with soaring steel and aluminum prices, has driven costs up. Campbell's has even warned that these spikes could disrupt availability. Soup demand, however, isn't going anywhere. Millennials and Gen Z consumers are fans of easy-go, larger format cans, with 42% preferring styles that are more accessible. Feeding America requested an additional 1.1 million cans for the winter of 2020-25, while Canadian grocery chains started rationing popular soups like minestrone. Inflation has only made the situation worse, with prices climbing 10% year over year. Supply chain isn't immune to chaos either. January storms at the Port of Long Beach delayed soup shipments, while in Pennsylvania, energy quotas forced factories to run night shifts to meet orders. Even parsley, a key ingredient in chicken noodle soup, is being sourced from Spain due to California bottlenecks. Innovation is shaking up production. Campbell's launched hybrid lines blending cans and cartons to cut costs and go greener. Superheated steam pasteurization has shaved seconds off production times, while Kroger stores are testing smart soup labels that track shipping conditions in real time. Overseas, Sweden is even patenting self-heating soup cans for disaster kits. Soup might seem humble, but it's a critical player in emergency stockpiles. Quick, hardy, and transportable, it's exactly what FEMA needs in a crisis. Once chaos starts, you can bet these cans will vanish fast. Stockpile your favorites now or risk turning to bare shelves when it matters most. 9. Canned tomatoes. Canned tomatoes may seem like just another pantry item, but when disaster strikes, they'll be one of the first things FEMA grabs. These versatile cans are critical for emergency meal prep and stockpiling nutrition. Whether diced, crushed, or pureed into paste, tomatoes are a powerhouse ingredient FEMA won't overlook. But the alarms are already sounding. California, which grows over 95% of the U.S. supply of processed tomatoes, faced devastating heat waves and drought in 2024. Water allocations were slashed to 45%, crushing crop yields. Even the quality took a hit, with the Brix level, a key measure of sweetness and density, dropping to its lowest in 20 years. The fallout? Surging prices. A 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes rose by 26% in 2024, and it's not slowing down. The pressure isn't just local. Bottlenecks at ports like Oakland delayed 18 containers of Heinz tomato paste, while Europe and Asia struggled with poor crops and export caps. Italy extended restrictions until 2027, and Serbia's crop loss sent ripples through the Balkans. Globally, supplies are tightening fast. To stay afloat, producers are trying anything. Kraft Heinz switched to lighter lids with recycled aluminum and started using aseptic cartons for pizza sauces. AI vision cameras are detecting defects on production lines, while new tomato varieties, like the Roma GF25, are being bred to thrive in extreme heat. Despite these efforts, higher production costs, labor shortages, and new eco-regulations are driving prices even higher. For consumers, the impact is clear. Food banks reported a 19% spike in canned tomato demand over the winter of 2024-2025. Retailers like Amazon are limiting popular brands, capping orders of San Marzano DOP tomatoes to 48 cans per purchase. Futures contracts for tomato paste even jumped 9% in Shanghai. Canned tomatoes aren't just a kitchen staple anymore. They're a vital resource. Rich in nutrients, long-lading, and indispensable in bulk cooking, these cans are survival essentials in any crisis. FEMA has its eye on them, and if you don't act fast, you could face bare shelves when it's too late. Stock up now and protect your stash while you still can. 10. Evaporated milk. Evaporated milk might not grab headlines, but if FEMA steps in, you can bet this canned staple will be on their radar. Why? It's a powerhouse of shelf-stable nutrition, versatile for countless recipes, and crucial for long-term food security. Whether it's for baking, emergency meals, or infant nutrition, evaporated milk is a must-have. The market confirms it. Valued at $5,700,000,000 in 2024, demand for evaporated milk is climbing steadily, with a projected growth rate of 2.3% annually through 2030. However, supplies are under pressure. Nestle's Carnation brand, which holds 62% of the U.S. market, faced setbacks when a power outage in mid-2024 halted production for 36 hours at a key facility. Add to that rising costs for steel cans, up 7% due to tariffs, and retail prices have followed suit. By early 2025, a 12-ounce can averaged $2.36, an increase of 9% over the previous year. Demand keeps surging, especially in food banks, which reported a 15% jump in requests last winter. Amazon imposed purchase limits after bulk buying wiped out supplies, capping orders at 24 cans per customer. Meanwhile, budget stores like Dollar General raised their private label prices to $1.59 per can, citing inflationary pressures. Health trends are reshaping this category, too. Low-fat variants surged 14% in popularity in 2024, while countries like Canada introduced high-sugar warning labels in early 2025, making traditional sweetened milk harder to find. Nestle is already pivoting, investing $100 million, 0 cents, into a new lactose-free evaporated milk line set to launch in 2026. Even global disruptions are squeezing supply. Monsoon floods in Malaysia destroyed 500,000 cans, while stricter export rules in Indonesia and contamination delays in Europe have created bottlenecks. On the sustainability front, Friesland Campina issued a $50 million SESG bond to green its production, and Nippon Steel introduced a new can-grade steel with 50% recycled content. Despite its subtle presence on grocery shelves, evaporated milk is a survival essential. FEMA knows its value, and so should you. Get ahead of the rush and stock up now. When shortages hit, this silent necessity will vanish faster than you think. Store it, secure it, and keep it hidden.